people sometimes hear, like, do things that are embarrassing to me, and they're like, are you embarrassed? And I'm like, no. When you throw an interception or a pick six in front of 8,000, you're kind of like numb to everything else, right?
You're calloused for life.
I'm calloused for life, for sure. Yo, 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 what up? It's Chris Sims. It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned with Connor Rodgers. We're back. It's Wednesday pod here.
We haven't moved.
Wednesday pod. We got all day pods here, right? But we're going to break down some more stuff here. And I don't know, we talked about me being embarrassed, right? But double, too. I was hearing that. Like, one, I threw interceptions in front of large crowds, and there's nothing more embarrassing than that. Two, I think I was already numb to it to a degree. When you wake up or when you go to games as a young kid and your dad's the quarterback and everybody in the crowd knows that you're Phil Simms' son and you see him throw interceptions.
That's different.
I had to learn about embarrassment that way, too, right? That definitely made my skin a little thicker as far as stuff.
Yeah, like I said, you're calloused for life.
Right.
Nothing can hurt you on being on air.
What's the most embarrassed you've ever been?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't even know. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I would just actually have to think about it.
Yeah.
You know what gets me feeling that way is now on our Big Ten show, I usually have to make some kind of pick. So now I watch the game full levels of stress. It's like you made the pick on Channel 4. Right. Now you get to watch the game. And the audience either thinks you're a genius or a total dummy.
Yeah.
So it's pending what my most embarrassing moment will be this season.
Okay.
So we'll get there.
Welcome to national TV.
Yes. Oh, what a fun moment. What is the best feeling as a player?
Running on the field, of course, is really special, right? In a big game, I mean, I can still my only playoff start, right? I can remember running the field being like, it's electric in here, right? That's
how do you ever capture that?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Scoring a touchdown in a playoff game or anything like that, right? That was the dog in the end zone. I threw the ball in the pirate ship. That's amazing. And also, let me just getting in the locker room with the teammates after a win. Man, there's nothing cooler. Gosh, like, we did it. We overcame it. It was rough. Oh, it's the first time all week we can take a deep breath and relax, right? Relief. We don't have to go on the plane and act like somebody died because we lost, and then the next day we all know we're going to get yelled at and scorched earth and everything like that. I mean, that's another good feeling.
And I feel like it's amplified for the quarterback because after the game, you probably had to stay on the field and do a little extra, whether it's media or whatever. So you're walking into a full locker room.
Oh, full locker room. Usually the quarterback, you're like the last guy to walk in.
Yeah,
exactly,
like you were the owner or the head coach.
And you could feel it as before you turn the corner to see everybody.
The
you're
roar.
Like, everybody's in there, excited, and I can't wait to be a part of it. Yeah, that's the special stuff about football.
So that's all the good vibes. We are going to kick off today's show of maybe the honeymoon's over a couple of places after week 1, and we got plenty to get to, too. We'll do Rookie of the Week. We're going to preview some of week 2, what's more likely. But the honeymoon's over, Chris, is more of we had the good summer vibes.
Yeah.
The summer fling, whatever it maybe is. And now, after one game, the fan base feels like, oh, God, I was sold a false bill of goods for months.
Right.
What was this?
Right.
And you look at the Bengals right now. I mean, it's kind of where you have to start right here. I mean, 141 total yards. It's the fewest in Zach Taylor's 7 seasons as a head coach. The Browns held the Bengals to 7 yards in the second half. It's the fewest yards in the second half by a winning team in the last 25 years.
Right.
My question is just, why is this happening?
Yeah.
With all the talent they have.
Right.
And the fact that we actually saw urgency this summer where they were getting those guys in preseason games of like,
they played.
We're going to roll.
Right.
We're going to roll. Is there something more to this, or is it just people are kind of looking at the Browns and getting the wrong idea, and the defense came together and they are a tough act?
Right. Well, I mean, I got concerns here, and I got a few thoughts as well. One, they have proven to be a team that they are clearly not innovative or creative until later in the year. They kind of do the basics early in the season, the basic West Coast stuff. And I've complained about this in the past where, you could play and do all you want, but if you're running the same basic plays, and again, I've said this too when it comes to Cleveland, like Jim Schwartz, he knows the West Coast offense as good as a lot of the West Coast offensive coordinators. So if you think you're just going to go out there and run some of those simple West Coast-based type of plays, that you're messed up and thinking that they're not going to be all over some of that stuff. Let alone, I think they match up with them, right? They got good corners where they can feel like, hey, we don't have to double this guy. We can take some chances. And then he's very creative with what he does with his fronts up front. And then they have a freak with Myles Garrett, who's never easy to play, especially in a week one. And they're not an easy defense in general to play in week one because they do a lot of stuff, and you're just like, man, what's the new wrinkle they're going to throw into this game that we didn't prepare for? So that's where you worry about it a little bit. But my big thing is that I think Cincinnati, and they've shown this to me, where once they get 4 games into the system of breaking down a team, they are really good at going, now we know the formula we want to attack them, because when we're in 3 receivers to the right, they do this and this. So now we know what plays we want. Or we're in 2 receivers to the left and 2 to the right, they do this. So now we know what plays we want. And of course, Burrow's amazing at dissecting that and then getting them in the right play. But I think also lack of creativity and innovation early in the year and just going, hey, we're going to do what we're going to do and we're going to execute and be detailed and and the stuff we do, I don't think is necessarily giving you this schematical advantage, especially against a guy like Schwartz. And I worry about it. So that's where I'm going to go I know they're going to get it, but for week 2, the summer vibe stories is over because Anthony Campanile and the Jaguars will be all over some of this stuff too if they don't reinvent or have some cool plays to throw at them to change their thinking in Jacksonville.
And Schwartz, he had a lot of belief in the defense in this game. They had 49 defensive snaps. He threw cover 1 at them 19 times. He said, go man up with some of the best in the game.
Well, see, this is where really good man coaches, you hear zone coordinators like, hey, if this guy goes in, this guy goes out. The man coaches can coach it like that too.
Sure. Hey,
if they're in this formation, you're only going to see these routes right here. And if you see the receiver inside them break out, now in your mind, they only run this route on the guy on outside of him, right? And that's what the really good man-to-man guys can do. And if you're simple and you know what to expect, and I kind of know what they do as far as concepts, right? You can almost teach your guys to play man-to-man and know what to expect off of kind of seeing splits, formations, and keying maybe the drop or even keying just another guy's route that you're seeing out of the corner of your eye and you're getting a feel for. I think that's where, and then they got the talent to back it up, right? And I think that's where they can be dangerous, that Cleveland defense.
Bengals were hoping for a faster start on offense. I wouldn't say the honeymoon is over yet, but if they do another one of these in week 2, I think there's going to be.
I could see them being not real pretty again here this week and maybe even the next week after that. It's for whatever reason, it takes them time to get it going and be creative and throw the whole Rolodex of plays at people.
Another good vibe of the summer was the Texans' revamped offense. Cody Lambeth, 4051, said, as a Texans fan, the regression of C.J. Stroud has to be studied. Over his last 10 games, he's got 10 touchdowns, 9 picks. His offensive line is terrible, but he holds on to the ball way too long, runs into pressure, and makes boneheaded throws into coverage.
Sometimes, I hear you there. I mean, listen, it wasn't pretty. I get it. It was tough. Now, it's another one like we talked about with some other quarterbacks and other podcasts where I'd go, this is not easy, first off. Playing in L.A., Chris Shula is a really good defensive coordinator. They're a good defense. So that's not – and, they're still learning and doing a new offense here. There's concern. I was expecting more than what we saw. Now, what I was challenged with what she says about C.J. Stroud is – she's not, and I don't know why I said she.
Cody Lambeth.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I said that. Cody, maybe you're a he. I don't care what you are. I'm going to approach it the same way. You're the man or the woman, okay? Either way, my point is, I don't watch film and go, man, C.J. Stroud's missing wide open people.
Right.
I don't see highlights or plays during the game when I watch it live where the announcer's going, he had this guy wide open and he didn't hit it or he missed it or he didn't see him. So the context matters a little bit, and there's a difference there. So I think within that too, I don't necessarily always look at it as C.J. Stroud regression. I feel like more of it's like C.J. Stroud's like, hey, we're not protecting, people aren't open, and he forces the issue a little bit. And he's got such tremendous confidence in his accuracy because I think he can hit the bullseye about as good as anybody in the sport. He just thinks he can fit the ball into even tight coverage. He's fearless. Now, that interception that he threw in the game the other day, first off, was not an interception. The ball hit the ground. He got unlucky. I thought that was a bad call by the refs, the review, everything. And that was a phenomenal play. Either way, the guy went up with one hand and pinned it on his right hip.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I don't think he caught it. I'm not panicked here yet. But I certainly didn't like the look. But I'm just not going to go too far as of right yet because it was the Rams. It was the first game. That is a good pass rush. There are some new O-line there, right? Here's a team this week where they got to work under protection, but I do think he might have some opportunities to throw the ball down the field against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, and they're going to go through a growth period there. You're starting a rookie right tackle in Ariante Ursary, and he had some tough moments in pass pro, like you said, against a front that should win a lot. So you can't pin all of that on C.J. Stroud.
Right. Exactly.
We'll see if the Texans can kind of get back on track, though, with what they want to be. It's just going to be interesting to see if they can run the ball, because that was such a key part of their identity last year. Now no Mixon and lines
they need
in shambles.
Mixon, and then we need to know who's going to be the next guy that can make a big play other than Nico Collins, right?
Right.
That's where
the rookies has to step up,
and they need the rookies to step up. Right. Exactly right.
All right, another honeymoon situation. Bo Nix taking the next step. Bo Nix taking a leap. Sean Payton this offseason said, I honestly think he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks within the next 2 years. I think he's going to be a superstar. It was a tough day for Bo Nix against the Titans defense, which I think is an underrated unit as a whole. But Bo did miss a couple plays that you expect him to make.
Yes. I think you got to start with what you said. When I was in the viewing room, again, we got a lot of people who know football, right? I mean, a lot. And when I repeatedly was like, hey, guys, the Tennessee Titans defense was number 2 in football last year, people were like, what? Were they really? Hold on, let me look. Oh, they were. Yeah, Tennessee's defense is good. They don't have a superstar pass rusher. Their superstars are, they don't have a household name, but they have a lot of good. Their secondary's creative as hell. Denard Wilson, their D coordinator's creative as hell, and they're a pain in the butt. I'm still all in on Bo Nix. I think he's going to tear it up. This is a good defense he played, and to me, here's where he messed up in this football game. I think he took a little of this to heart. I think Sean Payton a little bit. Hey, they're cocky in a good way. I think they went out a little like, hey, we're going to show everybody what we're all about. And I wanted to be like, hey, this ain't the team to do that.
Right.
This is the
Just
team
take
every
the
now and then,
the
take the easy completion. Yeah. I thought he was a hair aggressive and trying to make the big play a little bit, and that came back to bite him in the ass, for lack of a better way to say it. So, yeah, I still like Bo Nix. I still like the summer vibes. That's an awesome defense in Tennessee, and he just needed to adjust the way he played a little bit in this one because it was a defensive struggle.
All right, how about Bryce Young getting his career back on track? Pretty ugly day overall for the Panthers in general, just because you're expecting this to turn at some point for the Panthers, where they don't get the patience that a lot of teams get week one.
Right.
Because Panthers fans are probably sitting there going, I'm sick of waiting.
We've been patient for a long time.
Exactly
right.
And it was just ugly for the most part.
Agreed. And this is one where, I mean, anybody knows me, the honeymoon's over here. Or, we're calling it quits. I got to see it to believe it. I know the end of the year last year was better. I got that. But I also think it was better in the fact of just like the bar was so low. We were just like, look, he completed that pass. Look, they drove for 3 touchdowns in this game. And it's like, wait. If like we were saying that about other quarterbacks, we would get all over them. But now we're just the level of expectation so low. Anything positive, we're like, look, he hit a pass. You see that?
Yeah.
I can't stand that when that happens. I've seen that before. It didn't look good the other day. The interceptions were bad. They were bad. Like it wasn't. There's no excuse. It was like the guy was there. What did you not see? The strip sack fumble wasn't good. He missed some throws. So he threw it on a 4th down, threw the ball out of bounds when they were close to the goal line without giving anybody a chance to go up and get the ball. I'm not buying into Bryce Young. I have never really bought into Bryce Young, and I will not until I'm proven otherwise. I just don't love his look of his overall game ever since he's gotten the NFL. And I know maybe I'm a little harsh on him. I understand that.
I think the problem, too, though, is I think this is a good offensive line. And
it's a really good offensive line.
And he was he was pressured on 30% of his dropbacks. If you look across week 1, you have multiple teams that are over 40. So he actually had a pretty clean day overall, and you still, just like you said, whether it's missing throws, the 4th downs in the second half were brutal. Like 4th and 1 incomplete to Xavier Legette. In the end of the 3rd quarter, 4th and 5 incomplete to Tep McMillan.
Yeah.
And then obviously towards the end of the game, 5 minutes left, to Jatavian Sanders.
I thought there would be another one where they went for it too many times. Like there was a few times in there where I would kick the field goal, the field goal. The game would have been like only down 10 points, like halfway through the 4th quarter if we just did that. What was the panic? I don't know. So, I was a little surprised by that approach, but I did not love the look at all.
Yeah, it's the Panthers. They're one of those teams that it feels like Brian Dable, like you got to just start winning some games.
I know, right?
Like we like things you've done,
Yeah.
but at some point, wins
it's got to start
they
translating.
do matter.
Got to translate. I'm with
so
you, man. Totally.
We're going to take our first break. When we're back, Chris and I are giving out some awards for the Rookie of the Week. College football Saturday night, Ohio at number 1, Ohio State, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Also, number 16, Texas A&M at number 8, Notre Dame, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC and Peacock. A loaded college football Saturday night for us, Chris.
Let's go, Fighting Irish. Let's go. I mean,
you gotta have this one.
I want them to win, and I mean, of course, I went to the University of Texas, so I'm not rooting for Texas A&M. If you thought that was happening, and if you want to listen to the best announcer in all of football, check out the Ohio State game. That jerk Chris Sims is doing it.
That's right. Back in the booth.
So I'll be back at Ohio State, which I'm looking forward to. I'm in the number 1 team in the land, and I haven't been there since I was in high school, when I went to camp there and they were recruiting me and all of that. So I'm excited to see some of their studs in person and just see their facility. Matt Patricia, who I worked with in New England, he's a D coordinator. I look forward to talking to him. So, yeah, it'll be cool to do that Saturday night.
Do you get a different adrenaline when you call a game? Like when you go to the stadium and the environment, and like knowing you're in, like in the studio, we get to prepare for things. It's a different pace. And it's like that happened, react.
Yeah. It is. It's a totally different adrenaline. It almost takes me back to my quarterback days a little bit. One, you feel like you're part of the game. So like when the crowd cheers and all that, you're just like,
calling it out.
You feel it all, right? You get chills as you're watching it. The other thing is like, I approach it as an announcer a lot like I did as a quarterback, whether I was the backup quarterback or even starting the game. Like if I was sitting there on the sidelines, or like a coach even too, where, I'm paying attention to substitutions. I'm watching everybody that's coming in and out of the game. That's really kind of how I try to approach it. And it is fun being in the booth and kind of talking ball as you see it and as it goes.
Rookie of the Week.
Yeah.
A little new segment action here because you're stuck with me.
Yeah.
You can tell my influence on this one. I got to start with Emeka Egbuka,
right?
Who is my Rookie of the Week if I have to pick one. We'll talk about a couple players here. But just the fact of, listen, he catches 4 passes, but the 2 touchdowns, including the game winner, it just felt seamless. I know this is crazy to say, going from Chris Godwin to him.
Totally.
Like he just slides into the offense, can run the exact kind of role, and Baker has a trust in him that you don't see with a ton of rookie wide receivers and veteran quarterbacks.
And he's one that I didn't love his separation skills in college, but it's, I think, better than I thought it would be, right? That's, I think, what jumped out to me. Even when he ran the post over the top, when I first saw it, I was like, was that Emeka Egbuka? I was like, he kind of looked faster than Emeka Egbuka. And then I saw the replay, and I was like, oh, it was Emeka Egbuka. I hear he's made for the this is what Jason Light told me. He's just like, man, he's smart. He knows how to run routes. He's physical. The first guy is not going to always tackle him. I think that's what Jason Light saw in him, and I know he was high on him throughout the draft process. They had their eye on him, and to be the Chris Godwin replacement, that's what he was drafted for. And here he might, replace him before he even gets back in the lineup. But we know when he gets back in the lineup, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, that'll be pretty damn good.
I know you loved what you saw from Tyler Warren this week.
I love Tyler Warren. I really do. And I think, like I told you earlier, I think he's great in that offense. He is a space guy. He's just give me the ball in space, and I will run people over, break tackles, cover a lot of ground with yak, right? And then he blocks well too. And then when you're in the Shane Steichen offense, I mean, we know they're going to run the football, so you got to do that. So yeah, I love Tyler Warren and what he did, and I just think with their offense and how they play and how they run and the shotgun and the RPOs and the play actions they're so creative with, even out of the shotgun. That's where Steichen's going to be like, oh, look, here's Jonathan Taylor up the middle. All the linebackers come up, and it's like, oh, no, Tyler Warren's behind. Have fun tackling him, safety, right? That's where I love Tyler Warren.
His 76 receiving yards led all rookies in week 1, but I was almost just as impressed with everything else.
Yeah.
Like the 3rd and 1, and they put him at fullback and hand him the ball. It's like 1998 football.
Well, here we go.
Like we can run a little
Shane
fullback
Steichen's
belly.
Going, damn, I saw you do all this at Penn State. I got the guts to do this.
Awesome.
I might as well let you damn do it. I'm sure he'll be doing tush push. He'll probably line up a quarterback at some point. They'll do a quarterback design run with him. I wouldn't be shocked to see that type of stuff come out of their offense. And he's another one where I go, man, if that game was competitive, he would have gone for over 100 yards easy. It's just they were like, wait, let's not show any more of our good plays. The game's over. Let's go to next week.
I got to show a little love to Armand Membou on the Jets. I mean, your first NFL game, who do you got in front of you? TJ Watt? 26 snaps, 26 pass block snaps, no pressures allowed. He buried Watt on the final drive of the game where Fields could have got them in a field goal range. Problem is they had no number 2 wide receiver to get open, where I was like, wow.
Right.
Wow. And the run blocking was great.
That
was actually the thing where I was like, this is going to be a little hot and cold for a while with him. The Jets were able to run the ball largely because of him.
Tanner Eggstrand's got it going, a little of that Ben Johnson magic, and they were physical. The Jets' O-line was one of the more impressive units I saw. They whooped the crap out of Pittsburgh.
Cam Hayward was on the ground.
I don't remember seeing – I don't know if any Pittsburgh front seven guy jumped out to me that whole game watching it on Sunday.
It was pretty shocking.
It was never a moment where I was like, ooh, he's having a day, or, oh, gosh, he's been around the quarterback a lot. There was no one you could call out on the Pittsburgh front seven and go, ooh, they were special that day.
The last one, Chris, Cardinals cornerback Will Johnson. This is somebody that fell to the second round strictly because of medicals, was always a first-round level talent, size, athleticism. Really, really strong debut for Arizona. 3 passes broken up. He only allowed 4 catches on 32 for 32 yards on 7 targets. He played 61% of the snaps, so they're going to ease him in. But it feels like a matter of time before he's their number 1 corner.
I mean, what do you mean? The guy that was really the best corner in the draft is good?
Isn't that ridiculous?
I know.
Ridiculous.
I know. It's we see it every year where just teams, I think, are a little too careful with some of these injury things at times where I just go, what? You're gonna pass up that guy? But yeah, I mean, had the interception that got called back,
right.
I think it ended up being holding on him or some sort of defensive holding. But I had no doubt he was going to look the part, be the part. And, yeah, I don't think it's long before he's the best main corner on their team where they match him up in certain situations with the best team's receiver.
Let's look at the updated offensive rookie of the year odds from DraftKings right now. Ashton Genty's still at the top. I know the Raiders' run blocking couldn't get much going for him, but he's going to have his days. Cam Ward, because he's a starting quarterback at plus 500. Then it gets a little more interesting, Chris.
I think so.
Because it feels like Amarian Hampton's going to have a big day soon. Emeka Egbuka is going to play a lot until Godwin's back, and he'll still play. And then, like you said, Warren was excellent.
Right. Warren's got a chance here. I mean, I think Warren's is going to put stats up every week. I think your Emeka Egbuka is going to put stats up every week. Omarion Hampton, I know, is going to put stats up. We got to remember, that was a brilliant game plan by Greg Roman and the Chargers. Nobody runs the ball on the Chiefs. Nobody. The Saquon Barkley and the Eagles couldn't run the ball on them. They went all in on it. They go all in on it. So the Chargers were like, why are we going to bang our head against the wall against this? Let's come out. We have this awesome quarterback. Let's throw it. So he didn't even get the touches that way. So that's still the one I like. I'm just going to say it. I've said it twice already this week. I mean, I know I like Cam Ward. You know that. I'm not loving what I see from Ashton Genty. Maybe he needs a few holes and get going and get confidence. I'm just saying the look, the explosiveness is just a tad less than I was expecting. And maybe I'm wrong about this one. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just telling you just my
You said it over summer, though, too, to be fair to you.
I did, right? I just was like, I didn't love the look right away. So we'll see. I want him to prove me wrong. I loved him in college. I talked about him on our college football pregame show like every week. I was like, man, he wins the Heisman if he's on any team other than Boise. That was the problem last year. But, yes, I have not been in love with what I've seen so far in the NFL.
Nice to see Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt sneak onto that board.
Amazing. Amazing story there. Guys like Tetero and McMillan, I can see putting up big stats as the year goes on because he's going to be the go-to guy. They're going to
play from behind.
Offense. Exactly right.
So
he's one you look at.
McMillan looked pretty ready to roll.
He looks the part.
Yeah, like you kind of know.
No doubt about it.
Yeah,
I've seen enough
so
in preseason and this to go, I don't have to worry about him. Watch out for T-Mac.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV.
Man, that's a good deal. Just download the Sportsbook app and use the promo code Unbuttoned when you sign up.
DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. We're taking our last break, but when we're back, yes, we are looking ahead to Week 2 with a game of What's More Likely right after this. Week 2, what's more likely? Going to look ahead at which Week 1 stat could repeat in Week 2. Chris, we start with Aaron Rodgers. He's got the Seahawks. 5 completions of 20-plus yards or 4.6 air yards per attempt.
Yeah. So we're asking here, like, do I think that's going to be the kind of thing we're going to see again this week?
Yeah, which is more likely, essentially, him completing the downfield throws or that kind of air yards per attempt being that number?
I think that I think we're still going to see 5 completions of 20-plus yards, right? But, again, I don't think it's ever going to be just the air show that we used to see with Aaron Rodgers. I understand what we saw last week. The thing that I like just about it, even though some of those throws were short, right? Like he hits DK Metcalf on a shallow cross. He had pressure, he had people in his face. I don't think that was his first read, and he just found it, right? So I like that. It wasn't just like, let me throw it away, or I'm going to take a sack, or let me just find where the back is and get the ball out of my hand. That's what I like. We saw a few throws from Calvin Austin that he pushed the ball down the field. Right. He came out in a few bootlegs where you were like, he didn't just look for the guy in the flat. He was like, wait, is there anything open 15 or 20 yards down the field? They're playing a tough defense here. I mean, they're good. So I don't expect it to be an air show of like, we're going to throw bombs against this crew here. But I still think you're going to see 20-plus yard completions. But, yeah, I think the majority of them would be 10, 15-yard throws where he gets a little yak after that, right?
How about this one? Justin Herbert at the Raiders, 32 rushing yards again, or 34 pass attempts.
Ooh,
This is tricky because they clearly want him running more.
I think he wants it.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to like shove it up where the sun don't shine. He heard it. He heard me. Hall of Fame game #1 I did on the pregame show. I said the place he is separated from the great quarterbacks in football is when you're in the pocket, now nothing's there. He doesn't make the backyard plays. That's his only fault, really, when you look at him. You know how, like, the running quarterback, they are like, hey, the first guy's not open, I'm just going to run?
Yep.
The big RoboCop quarterback like Justin Herbert's like, the first guy's not open, I'm going to stand here. The second guy's not open, you, I'm going to keep standing here. I'm going to throw it over. I don't care if you hit me. The third guy's not open, somebody's going to come open, I'm still going to throw the ball, and you might hit me, so what? So it's the opposite end of the spectrum. But I felt like there was an edge about him the other night, first off, where he was like, nope, 1-2 wasn't there. Ooh, I saw somebody get close. I'm out of here. I think that's going to be a part of his game this year. I think he's going to shove it where the sun don't shine. So, no, I think they run the ball more. I'm going to say the 32 rushing yards. I think he gets more of that. I think he gets more of that this week.
I'm with you all the way. It was just so decisive.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
That. They don't need to pass over expectation at the rate that they did. Which I think they were #1 this week.
No,
it's not Greg Roman.
Exactly right. Yeah, and I think it was a part they were playing the Chiefs, who they know crowd the line of scrimmage and do all that stuff. It won't be that way against the Raiders.
All right, so Patrick Mahomes against the Eagles. 2 completions of 20-plus yards down the field or 57 rushing yards. I don't know if he's going to run like that against the Eagles.
Right.
I mean, the best part of his game was the running in Brazil.
It was. I mean, their offense was concerning because all their big good plays were him just creating stuff. It wasn't the offense. So that bothers me. I still think I'm going to go with the 2+ 20 completions. First off, 57 rushing yards against this defense. I just don't see that happening. Second off, I tried to say this a little in the pregame with Dallas and Philadelphia, and this was one of if there's a place to attack Philadelphia is you got to throw the ball down the field.
Right.
They play that quarters coverage. Their safeties look for the intermediate throws, and there's chances to throw posts, deep outs, deep comebacks, things like that, where I go, that's one of the places you could take advantage. Now, I feel for Patrick Mahomes is just that every time they come into a season and want to do this, hey, Rashee Rice is suspended, Xavier Worthy's not going to be healthy now, and it's like, oh, all right, so it's just going to be Hollywood Brown or maybe hopefully Tyquan Thornton, who we saw go deep, and I said to watch out for him, right? So that's cool to see. I'm going to go with the 2+ 20 yards downfield, but I still am not in love with what I've seen from them, their offense, and their ability to attack downfield.
I feel like over the last year we're seeing less deep balls hit from Mahomes.
Yes.
Is there something behind that? Like, do you think it's a talent issue at receiver, or do you think there's a reason he's missing?
I think there's a little of that. Now, I think there was probably like 8 to 10 completions downfield that were missed last year because Xavier Worthy was a rookie and he didn't adjust right, or he dropped it, or he had like 10 feet before he stepped out of bounds and he only got like 1 foot in. I remember that.
There's a lot of that.
Right. There was a lot of like weird stuff where you're like, man. So I do think it was a little better than people realized last year, but it's nothing like we saw early in his career. And if there is one negative about him, he does not throw his deep ball high enough. If you look at great deep ball throwers, they throw the ball almost out of the screen. He tries to pinpoint 55-yard throws, and it's just too hard to do that. So the beauty of throwing the ball deep in the air is, one, you throw it high, you throw it out there. It gives you lots of room for the receiver and lots of room for error to adjust to it. Defensive players don't adjust. Offensive players easily adjust. When you throw the ball high in the air and the DB looks up, they usually hold or grab or start to stumble all over themselves because they don't know how to play the ball. So that is one area that I certainly think he could get better at.
I feel like he could get away with throwing it that way with Tyreek, because Tyreek was
so fast. He could probably still run
some of the best
down
tracking in the league.
Right.
But with the younger guy, you got to give them a chance to make up for it a little bit more. So.
It's too hard to be pinpoint on a 50-yard throw. You got to give yourself and the receiver a little room to roam that way.
One quick note on this game: the Eagles traded for Tank Bigsby after week one.
I like that trade. Now,
Will Shipley's banged up, so their running back depth is a little tested right now.
Right.
Tank somehow fell out of favor in Jacksonville.
I'm shocked by that.
I am really surprised.
It almost feels like they were just like, hey, it's too much of a threat for ETN. We want to go with ETN. He was our first-round pick. Let's just go with it. I love Tank Bigsby. I mean, I was on here last year going, he should be the starter, and they started to start him there. But they obviously – I think what they looked at, too, here was – I think they have other guys, and like the Tootin Biashel from Virginia Tech. There's somebody else I'm not remembering too.
Oh, they have LaQuinn Allen.
Exactly right.
They have two rookies.
I think they're looking at that going, we like them, and Tank is getting to a place where at the end of this year he might ask for money or a new contract. So let's just get something for him now. And Philly, I think it's a brilliant move because Shipley banged up like you talked about. A.J. Dillon is. I like him, but he's a change of pace physical back. They need to still have a guy that, like, wait, we opened up a hole like we do for Saquon. We got to have somebody that can go get yards and make something happen. Bigsby can do that, and I think it gives them some insurance that way.
Our next one, the Bills are at the Jets. For the Bills, 41 points scored again or 40 points allowed again. This could be like both. Both could happen again. Both could happen again.
It really could.
I mean, the back end of the Jets' defense had some bad breakdowns.
Definitely did.
But the Bills' defense, look at the Ravens' offense. Obviously, the Jets are not that, but stylistically,
there's a lot of similarities.
To be something like that.
I would think they're going to be able to push the Buffalo defense around here, right? This one's close here. I guess if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to go to 41 points scored.
I'm with you because it's the Josh Allen effect.
Exactly right.
And
your defense, maybe your Jets defense, maybe not clicking on all cylinders with a new scheme, right? Playing a more aggressive style, certainly playing a little more man-to-man. I'm not sure I like either one of those, but if you make me pick one, I'll go 41 points scored.
The Cowboys' run game, it's got the Giants this week. 119 rushing yards or only one rush of 12-plus yards.
I'm going to go with only one rush of 12-plus yards. I think that they're going to opt to throw the ball on the Giants a little bit. I think they're going to feel okay about the pass protection, and they'll go that way. This is a good one by UP. This one's got me thinking a little bit here. The Cowboys O-line, I do like it. I do. I really do. But I just think with what the Giants and how they played last week and all that, I mean, number one has to be let's not get blown out of the water in the run game. Right? Now, there's no Jaden Daniels here as far as threatening you with the run, too, which always kind of makes the stats look a little different or misleading that way. But, yeah, I'm going to go they buckle down on the run game, and they only get the 12-plus yard, one rush of 12-plus yards.
Yeah, and you had at the Commanders game, Debo had 20 rushing yards.
Yeah, right. It was a little bit of everything. They did it different ways. It wasn't just traditional up the
as good as
the middle.
Was.
Exactly right.
All right, our last one, Chris. The Packers defense, it's got the Commanders on Thursday Night Football. 4 sacks again for the Packers defense, or a 79.5 completion percentage.
Wow, 79.5 completion percentage. Man, I'm going to go with the 4 sacks here. I am.
Micah
wrecking it, right? Good defense, creative. You get Jaden scrambling a few times. They get a few sacks like that. I guess that's where I look at this one. This is a tough one here, too. I mean, 4 sacks is a lot. But 79.5 completion percentage allowed. Yeah, I just don't see that happening. I think too much of the Green Bay defense here to where if you're going to make me pick one, I'm not sure I love either one. I'm going to go with the 4 sacks.
Right, and it probably speaks to volumes that completion percentage was so high because Goff was just kind of throwing it short.
Well, it was dink and dunk.
Right. There's nothing there.
That's where it's like, I'm not even gonna lie. When he put the 79.5 completion percentage, I was like, wait,
how?
Why did Goff do that? And I was like, oh yeah, I know, Pete, I know it, but I was literally, it wasn't on my radar because I don't think there was one impressive throw all day.
Right.
So that's the problem.
It was checkdowns.
Right. It was check down
over
Charlie.
and over again.
Exactly right.
All right, man. That's it for us.
We did it?
Yeah.
All right, baby.
You still, they're going to have you do one more podcast.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
With
I'm
Florio.
Sure.
You can pick every game.
I got to do that Thursday, but as usual, way
Always
to hold
a
it
blast.
down. Chris Sims Unbuttoned with Connor Rodgers. We're gonna get a signature on the back.
Honeymoon's
here
not over
somewhere.
for us.
We're gonna. No, it's not.
No.
No, it's not. But I'm liking working with you, man, and I'm
been a
looking
blast.
forward to
Hell
our
yeah.
potential.
Yes,
Definitely
we'll see
about
how it
that.
goes. We got a high
Send it
ceiling.
in. We got a bromance working here. All right. Send in the questions, the responses. Subscribe, rate, review. You know where to find me and Connor Rodgers. We'll be in your face all season long here at Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Hope everyone enjoys Thursday Night Football. Check me and Florio out on the Thursday Picks Pod. I did horrible last week, which is the usual. I start every year out horrible, and then I have to climb
You're
back
the
in the
Bengals.
race. That's what I am. I guess I'm Joe Burrow, but without that much money. All right, everybody. Peace out. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Peace out, homies. We got to figure out our own thing.
No
clap it up. Not
No
yet.
clap
We're
it
going to
up.
find our own thing. Yo, homies, it's time to watch some games. That's right. We're on to the NFL season here with Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, Sunday night recaps after every game, and much, much more.
Thanks for watching. Peace out, homies. Remember, subscribe. Peace out.